QA tutorials. In this video we'll talk about we'll build a test automation project using Cypress from scratch. So I will show you the exact steps how to build a automation project using Cypress so that you can follow along and create your own automation project using Cypress. So these are some of the topics we're going to cover. We're going to use this URL like test automation URL. This is the URL we're going to use. We're going to automate some of the elements in this web page, right? This is the text elements and checkboxes, options, radio buttons, and drop downs, right? We're going to automate all these things in this tutorial, right? So we're going to use some of the concepts that I discussed in the previous tutorials, something like Cypress Environment variables, Cypress Fixtures to handle data to the automation script, Cypress Hooks to initialize the test environment, and we'll show you how to select the elements on the page and how to take screenshots, and we'll be using the page object pattern. This is the most commonly used automation pattern on the test automation. So I will build the scripts using this page object pattern, right? So this is the basic introduction of how we're going to do this project, and you can follow along and create your own test automation script using this video. Right, so let's get started and see what are the things we need. So if you look at this page, so we're going to automate this page. So it has some input boxes like name, mobile number, email address, password, and address, and there is some radio buttons and check buttons and drop down. There's some more check buttons and upload file. So I will show you how to do all these things up to drop down. So you can use the same techniques to automate some of the elements like other checkboxes and radio buttons and file uploads using the same techniques, right? So let's, without further delay, let's get started on this our script. Right, before you get started, you want to do the installation of Cypress and Cypress Environment. You want to get started with Cypress Environment. For that, you need to install Cypress in your local machine and start the test runner. I explained these things in my previous tutorials, so you can watch those tutorials to get started with the Cypress Environment. So I have already the Cypress Environment installed on my machine. So I'm going to open the Cypress test runner so that we can test our scripts using the test runner, right? So to start the test runner, so we're going to use this command, Cypress open. So I have this path, that's where my Cypress is installed. So I'm going to open this Cypress test runner so that we can see all the scripts that are available, or all the tests that are available that can be tested using Cypress test runner. So let the Cypress open, test runner open. So it's going to take some time. Let that open. Okay, meanwhile, so we'll go to the script. So we're going to take so for all the data we want to create a fixture file which is basically a JSON format with all the values, and we're going to also use the env files, environments in Cypress. So this Cypress test runner is opening. So let it open. So we'll get started with our JavaScript file, which is needed for test automation. Right, so we're going to create a sample. Let's start it with a blank let's start it with a blank script, JavaScript. So I will just copy this existing script and rename it as a new script. So we'll call it as automation test.js. Right, this is our new script. Okay, let's open the new script. Automation test.js. Right, this is our new script. So let's clear the whole thing. So this is the blank, right? So first of all, we're going to name our test suite and we'll point to this URL, right? So we're going to take our test suite name. So all the test suite will start with describe. So Cypress test suite, right? So this is where we start, right? So we'll name this as Cypress test automation suite, right? So this will be the test suite, and our first scenario is basically fill the page, right? So to fill that page, we want to open the URL. That's the first thing we need to do. So we'll say like create the test case. So by using this IT is the test case. Right, this will be the test case 1. Okay, so first thing is we need to open the URL. So normally in Cypress we're going to call this URL using cy.widget and the URL name. So here we're going to use the environment variable so that so we can use that URL in wherever we need to use in multiple test cases, right? So when you create environment variable, so that will be available in all the test cases. You can use that variable. So to create environment variables, we need to add a variable in the cypress.json. So we're going to use this URL. Right, into environment variable that's in the cypress.json, that is available under your project installation where you install your Cypress. So you're going to create env variable function and then put your URL under the environment variable. So this is the env available URL will be used here. So whenever we want to test on a different environment, we can simply change this URL and test on the other URL, like something like dev, QA or production. So instead of touching the script, we can simply change the URL and use it. So now instead of hard coding here, we want to use the URL from there. So the syntax for that is cypress.env and the key value URL. Right, that is the syntax. So this will basically open the URL, our test URL for using the test. So Let me see and just see syntax. So Cypress.env and URL, right? So this is, so let's try this out, see if it opens our URL, right? So we can go to the Cypress environment. So this is our Cypress environment. So we'll see the automation test, right? We're going to, it will open on the Electron browser. So let us see this, run it. So the tests are loading. Okay, so opening the URL. Right, 1 minute, something wrong. So test URL, let's save this or didn't save this. Okay, let's save this. We'll take the new URL, right? So let's see this. So it's loading this again. Let's wait for that load. So we want to automate the elements, these elements, right? So we need CSS selectors for these elements, right? So we can do the Google inspect and find the ID element or class element or any XPath for this element that we can use. Okay, let's see our test is running or not. Okay, so opening now. Okay, so now we got the correct URL which we're going to test. Right, this is good. Right, now we're going to take these 5 elements and we'll create a for this, and also we'll create how to access these elements using our script, right? So for each of the elements, we're going to need the selector using inspect command. See, this is the ID name, this is ID phone number, right? ID phone number, right? Email. So we're going to first create some data for this, right? So that's where we're going to use the fixtures, Cypress Fixtures to do this. So for creating a Cypress Fixtures, we have to create a JSON file in the Fixtures directory. So for one of the examples is this, say examples.json. This is the Fixtures file, example.json, which is already created for this, which is available in Cypress Fixtures example.json. So this is the file we're going to use. It has like name, phone number, email, password, address that we're going to use for our testing. Right? You can create a JSON file similar to like this, put it in the Fixtures file, right? And example.json. Right? We have like 5 elements: name, mobile, phone number, email, password, and address. That's what we have, 5 elements here. Right, so we're going to use this fixtures file in our script automation tests, right? So the syntax for this is this, fixtures. So we're going to initialize this using hooks, right? So this is the hooks, Cypress hooks. So if you are not familiar with Cypress Hooks, you can watch the video tutorial which I created on hooks. So we're going to use the before function, which will initialize the data before the test case starts, right? Before any test case starts. That is also called before each, which is useful to initialize something before each test case. Here we are using only before function because we need to initialize the fixture only once, right? Okay, that's it. Let's see if this is not running. Okay, so this is initialize. So now we have this data available as an object in the script, right? Example.json. So we don't need to initialize anything. So now we have a data. So now we have to create a page object for this home page, for the automation page, as per the page object pattern. So we're going to create a Java class for that, like home page. So we can say like similar to this home page, right? So we're going to create this say class home page. Get name is basically cy.get hash name. This hash name is nothing but the ID of the select. These class we're going to create in the support folder, Cypress/support. We're going to create our page object like home page, and this is the automation page that we're going to use. So name, phone number, email, password, address, and the button, submit button. So this is what is here. This is the name, right? ID name. So we are using that ID name here for this, and similarly phone number. So basically, it is returning the element of that object, web element from the web page, right? Class home page, name, phone number, email, and submit button. So we're going to use this object in our automation test. So for that, we need to import this class object. So how are we going to import? So we're going to have this import command, right, before this. So this will import the home page. So that will make it available, all these methods, to our script, right? Then we can create a new class, right? New class of this new instance of this home page data. So before starting our script, we're going to create this home page, right? So then the first thing is we need to type data onto the elements, right? So this is the home page name, the first one. So we are taking the home page object get name method. So that is basically this get name method, right? And this data name, right? From the object fixture object, so we're going to take the data.name, that is in our example.json, this one, name, right? Name parameter we want to take. So this is the name, right? We're going to pass this value. So similarly, we'll do the same thing for other objects, right? So for the sake of time, I created, already did this, so I'm going to copy that. Other things. So this values, right? So now, so what we have now is So we're visiting this file and entering all the data in the first box, right? So let's try to run this and see, right? So here we use the environment variables, we use the hooks, we use the fixtures, right? And also we use the page, right? So let me try running the script, right? Our script, let's see how it works. So let it run. This is in the web page. See, now it's inputting the values, right? It's input fixtures, right? You can see the values whichever is there from our data.json file. Right, so all the data from this is inputted onto the form, right? So this is the page. So let's take some other elements. See how we can add into this, right? So now we automated up to here, right? We're going to do this checkbox, radio button, and checkboxes. Now if you see, we want to select mail option. We want to select this element. So it has the label, mail label, and it has option radius. ID is mail. So we're going to use the ID mail and select the mail option. And here in checkboxes, we can use. We will select. We can do multiple selections here. So we'll do like Monday and Wednesday, right? So first let us finish this mail option coding for that. So here, so for that radio button. Right, so this will be cy.get and the syntax is mail, right? Dot click. Okay, so if you click it, so that will select the radio button, right? Then we have to select Monday and Wednesday from the checkboxes. So let us see the value for this. So this is Monday, right? Similarly, the other one is Wednesday, right? Monday and Wednesday. So we'll take this ID, this ID. So we're going to add two more selects or checkboxes. cy.cat. Oh no. Monday dot click. Then cy dot Wednesday, right? So take that Wednesday element. Click, right? So this is the elements that we select, right? So let's see how this looks. Let's stop this. So now it will select the radio button checkboxes, right? Let's run it and see. So let it run. Once it runs, we can see. So now we see we selected Monday, Tuesday, female option Monday and Wednesday, right? So that is working. And now we're going to see how you can select this drop down, right? Let us see what is the web element here. So this is basically a select class with different options, right? So in Cypress, how are you going to use the select class, right? This is the select class with the custom select and various options. Now, so we can go to the Cypress documentation and see how to work with select class, the select tags, right? Let us see the syntax for select. So this is the Cypress blog, right, where you can search for various commands, right? So here is got like working with select elements and select two widgets. So if you have like something like select with ID my state and various options, the syntax will be, right, cy.get the ID of the element and select and the value, right? Select and the value. This is basically affirmation. So we're going to follow the same syntax here. So we're going to say we want to select, say, like Italy, right? So we're going to put like cy.get my article ID of the element and select that, right? Let us see this. Copy that statement. So instead of my state, we're going to do our URL ID of the select element, that is custom select. This is the class element. We're going to use the class element. So far we are using the ID. This time we're going to use the class element. So class element, we're going to put like a hash. We'll be doing a dot. So if you are not sure about how to use the selectors and all, there is a video I created, so you can use that. So and the value should be Italy. Italy, right? That is the value you want to select. Okay. So if you want to do the confirmation part, you can as well take the confirmation that is selected correct value. So you can do this should have, right? This is kind of an assertion we are doing, right? We're doing an assertion. This is the same class. Should have value Italy. This is the script, right? So now, so we discussed about how to do selections, and this is basically a drop down. Or drop down select element. Right, so now we want to rerun this. It's rerunning already, and we got a select Italy is done, and assertion is also passed. Right, so now see, if you see, it's filling the form as okay. So here it's saying there is an error here. in the assertions is expected to have value Italy, but it has a value of 6. So let us see what happened here. Let us see what is the element, right? So I think the value is 6. The text is Italy. So we're going to say, instead of value, we'll say should contain, right? Dot contains, say dot contains. We're going to use the contains command, right? Italy. Right, that's the correction we can do. So let's see confirm the syntax. Let's see if we have anywhere contains. Should contain. So this is the syntax, okay. Should contain. Select should contain Italy. Right? So this is the value, we want to do this. Let's see. France. Right? So now it's good, right? Expected Italy to contain Italy. Right? So this is the fix for it. So instead of value, we're going to say text. We verify the text, right? So this is the script. So now, so here what we did, that if you review the things we did, we used the Cypress Environment variable, right? So we used a page object called home page. We also used the Fixture, CY Fixture for reading data elements. And we also used the select element, right? We did drop down, check radio buttons, check boxes, and we did assertions. Now, we can also take screenshots of past scenarios if you want to take. So we can as well do that. Screenshot, I think I did one of the elements. Screenshot, let me see the syntax for screenshot. We do an example of the screenshot. Okay. So basically there is a command called ci.screenshot. Right? Which you can screenshot. Right? So there is a CI screenshot. So normally the Cypress command takes screenshots on failure scenarios. So we want to take a screenshot on the past scenarios. You can use this screenshot command to do this. Right? Let's save this and see the output. Let's see if we'll check if this works, otherwise we'll fix the syntax for the screenshot, or you can check here. Okay, there is some error. Okay, so the cy.screenshot test is one screenshot taken successfully. So this is the command. So let's run it and see. Right now it's taken screenshot successfully. So it took a screenshot of the application as well, past scenario. Right, so as you see, so let's rerun it again one more time. So let the test run. So it's loading. Right, just inputting data, radio button checkboxes, and the screenshot, right? And so this is how you create your test script using best practices of automation and Cypress. So we basically completed this automation for this page. Right, so we did this box, this part, this box, and up to the drop down. So as an exercise, you can try these checkboxes, radio button, and file upload option using Cypress, and try it and see. Right. So if you have any questions on how to do this, or if you still have some clarity needed on this tutorial, you can put a comment in the comment section. So I will reply as soon as possible. So if you like this video, click on the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.